A great start to the league premiership. They annihilated Manly on Sunday. A lot of league fans will be happy about that. All right, the game we've got for you this afternoon is the one between Canberra and Illawarra. Let's have a look at the Canberra Raiders personnel right now. There they are. Gary Belcher's the fullback. 2 is John Ferguson. Daly and Jackson in the centres. Jackson back from England wearing 28. Mitch Brennan on the wing in 4. Bellamy and Henjack at the halves. Dean Lance, the captain at lock. Coyne and Gilbert, the second rowers. Bacco, Walters, Batiste and Lazarus is the reserve. The Illawarra Steelers, 26 is Leo Epifina. He's the fullback today. Max Mannix, Leggett, Hetherington and Lee are the 3-quarters. Upfield and Haddock are the halves. Hanson, Carberry, Hardy, Cole, Steele and Walsh are the forwards. Larder's a reserve, as is Michael Bolt. So that's the rundown for the two teams. Canberra playing Illawarra. Grab yourself a hot brew, sit back and relax and enjoy the Saturday edition of the big game. Illawarra with Carberry. And there's a Raiders player down at this stage. Haddock coming out of the right side. 6 is Upfield. Upfield puts the kick through again, but it just goes over the dead ball line, just a little too strong from Upfield, and Don Ferner, that kicking game coming into play again.
They're trying to, the kicks are not well directed, of course. They're just not enough height there, and they're just kicking a little long, but they're causing trouble, and they're turning the Raiders around with those kicks. Sometimes you can overdo it, but these 2 kicks that they've had, it's just been too long.
And that's Keith Cole, I think, who's going to be called out, number 11, who was a little vigorous on Mitch Brennan. Yep, Keith Cole, he's a big lump of a lad. Dennis Baggerino says, that's all right, you're not allowed to do that. And a penalty to the Canberra Raiders, and that really is relieving the pressure that they put on. Down on the sideline is Greg Robson.
Gary Coyne copped a little bit of a bash in the head. He's got a bit of a headache at the moment, but he looks as though he's all right. You can actually see with some of these kicks in play that the wind is definitely coming across the field.
And there's Cole again onto Sam Bacco. That's going to be a big tussle here tonight at Seaford Oval. Walters is a dummy half. He looks like he's had a haircut, actually, in the last couple of days. Gary Coyne.
Good ball. That was a good ball there.
And Coyne in support, as always. Walters at dummy half. Now we'll look for the Raiders. They go left. They move it out to the wings. Oh, Dean Lance just took his eyes off the ball at the wrong time. And he's not happy with himself. And as you know, Don, he wouldn't be happy with himself.
No, you strive to get in a position where you have the numbers when you switch it back, and it's only hands then and move the ball, and you've got an overlap. But somebody breaks down by the handling, then it causes problems, of course.
So this is Upfield now from a scrum win for the Illawarra Steelers. And they're just rucking the ball out now from their half. He's brought down by Gary Coyne. That was Jeff Hardy it was. So Haddock, who's calling the shots here for the Illawarra Steelers. Great tackle by Craig Bellamy, the 5'8", on the front rower, Chris Walsh. So Bellamy makes another one along with Gary Coyne, who's, as we heard Greg Robson say, has got a bit of a headache at this stage. Another kick downfield. It's going to find touch for the Illawarra Steelers. Yes, it is. And that's a better execution of a kick. So the Illawarra Steelers putting plenty of pressure on here. Canberra 2, Illawarra 0 as this scrum goes down on the quarter line. Here's a kick again from Perry Haddock, and he's a master at this. And they're going to have to move up and cut off the kicker. So the Raiders win this ball now. And Belcher into the back line, and he's playing it just on the quarter line there, as you can see. This is Ashley Gilbert making a charge now. He's brought down by Glenn Steele. Gilbert to get up to play the ball. Walters is a dummy half. Walters to Henjack. Henjack fired a pass out, and Belcher. Great hands. Beautiful hands by Gary Belcher on that occasion. Brought down by Glenn Steele. Belcher to get up to play the ball about 45 metres out from his own line. The Raiders moving it wide to Batiste. As Peter Jackson moves into the side. That's Daly. Daly looking for a way through. Daly still going. One of the real young finds is Laurie Daly, one of your protégés, Don Ferner.
Yes, we found him at June. I'm sure he'll acquit himself well throughout the season.
Batiste takes the ball and is hit by a couple of Illawarra players, one of which was Chris Walsh, who's going through a mountain of work, the former St George player. Another drop ball by the Raiders. And offside, says Dennis Baggerino, the referee. And this is in a goal-kicking position. A pass by Ashley Gilbert. Walters says it touched it, and then Gilbert came around. So this is Leo Epifina, the fullback, wearing number 27 tonight for the Illawarra Steelers. Looking to level the score at 2-2. Epifina moves in, around the corner style kicking, as is so popular these days. Epifina gets it, looked a little wobbly, but it doesn't really matter because they all count. And it's 2-2 here at the Seaford Oval. So the Steelers in possession, just trying to ruck their way out of the quarter line. It's the last tackle, and look for a kick now from the Illawarra Steelers. It goes back to Epifina, who tries to get his kick in. He was chased down nicely by the Raiders, but he got his right foot to it and did gain some ground, some valuable ground for the Illawarra Steelers around about the halfway for the Raiders. And that kicking game turning the Canberra Raiders around. What can you do about that, Don? Is it a matter of getting up quicker in the play the ball to the kicker?
You chase him and put him under pressure as much as he was under pressure, but he stepped pretty well then. He got out of trouble and put the kick in. But the big thing is when you keep the kicking game against you, you've got to counter that by being mistake-free to get back out with your kicking game. So it's just one of those things that we're just not doing it as well as Illawarra at the moment. When I say we, it's Canberra.
Of course. Current Australian coach Don Ferner joining us in the commentary box. Roll, big hit by Batiste. Batiste and Walsh came together. That's what rugby league's all about. Good defence from the Canberra Raiders. Almost an intercept from Daly, but that's allowed Epifina to go clear, and Sam Bacco cleans it up. So Bacco dives on the ball. Walters at dummy half. The Raiders, Batiste moving up. The former Eastern Canterbury player now finding a home here at Seaford Oval for himself under Tim Sheens. Coyne sends it out to Bellamy. Bellamy finds Jackson running straight and hard. Back from England just on Wednesday was Peter Jackson. And he looks pretty fit too. Ferguson, he's dangerous from dummy half. He's got Gilbert. Gilbert, oh, he almost found Ivan Henjak on his right. He could have been away, Henjak. Now, the Raiders, Jackson looking for touch. A nice stab kick from Jackson. Epifina coming back to pick it up. It's in their in-goal area, and Epifina comes around. There's plenty of chasers, one of which is Ivan Henjak, and they just bring him into play.
This is Perry Haddock at dummy half. He runs it along the wing. It went to upfield. Upfield got it away to Hardy. Hardy back to Epifana. Epifana finds a winger on the far side, Mannix. He tries to slip through the first line, but up there's Sam Bacco, and right underneath his bootlaces was Walters to bring him down. Up he gets to play the ball. It goes away to, that time it looked like Haddock. Haddock got onto the big front row forward, Keith Cole. He bustles his way upfield, tries to get the ball away, but he's quickly brought down. Laurie Daly was there with Bacco. Up he gets away to Steele. Steele finds Haddock. Haddock wider out to upfield, and upfield got a pass away to Hetherington, and Hetherington makes a big run upfield. He sends the pass wide to Mannix. Mannix gets a pass back this time, and it's gone to the big second rower, and that's Cole. Cole's got the pass away to Mannix, and Mannix is brought down 10 metres out. Great play, Illawarra. Great run. It came from just about 15 metres in front of their own line, and the turnover comes back. Great effort by Illawarra there, Don.
Yeah, it was. I think, you know, you've got to hit back with that sort of attack. You've got to come back with it. We've got to, or when I say we again, it's Canberra's got to keep that ball for 4 or 5 rucks to get that kick in, to get that pressure off them. But if they make a mistake now, Illawarra gets a flow on, and that's what makes it dangerous.
Illawarra trying to make it hard for the Canberra Raiders, and they're doing so. Here's Mitch Brennan, tries to bustle his way back up. Up he gets to play the ball, back to Walters. Walters swings it back to Belcher. He looked to kick, then moved off his feet well. Up he goes, up over the 30-metre line. It's a strong kick too, and the ball goes out. Good play by Gary Belcher. Gary Belcher slipped through and then popped the kick over the top. There's the replay. It was a great kick popping over the side of the winger there. Shane Lee on this side, and the Canberra Raiders now on a roll. Much better play after that fantastic run by Illawarra. 22 metres into the second half. It's 2-2 as Haddock prepares to feed for the Steelers. Ball comes out the blind side. He tries to beat Henjak, but Henjak was quickly across in 34. Up he gets now back to Hansen, back from Leeds, I think it is, way to upfield back to Efapana, who's again up in the backs from fullback and playing well too. Steele, he's the dummy half. He finds outside him Hansen. Hansen sends a pass back to number 10, who's flying hard onto the ball, Hardy, and Hardy is brought down. Hansen is dummy half. He looks to do the switch with a Haddock, but Haddock then fired the ball across to on the far side Carberry, and Carberry's met by 2 Canberra Raiders defenders, and one of those was Gary Coyne, who's ever alert up in the forwards. He gets the ball away this time. It goes to Haddock. Haddock tries to go underneath the attack, but he's quickly met, and the score after 22 minutes still 2-2. There's Upfield. Upfield gets it away this time. It looked like to Haddock. It was a long raking kick, and the ball just goes too far. Bellamy and Henjak are going to make a very interesting duel as the game goes on. On the sideline, there's a player down. We'll find out with Greg Robson just who the player is. It seems to be getting quite a bit of attention. And here's a fight on at the meantime, though. As I speak, it's Sam Bacco and Cole. And I'll tell you what, they match each other stride for stride. Sam doesn't mind a fight anywhere. Doesn't matter if it's the back of the Laker barn or on the ground, Don Ferner. Crikey.
They stepped back and shaped up with one another, but I don't think they were going to hurt one another then.
The heavyweight title of the world. Mike Tyson, put your gloves away. Sam Bacco, look at him. round the top of his head, bang. That's not a bad punt, Sam, either. Cole came back with one around the head, and then a Sparagio came across and said, hang on, you can't shape up yet. Do that later.
Even game at the moment. I do notice that Jackson's not taking the line kicks anymore. The in-play line kicks. Seems to have handed that back over to Belcher, so maybe he's a bit concerned that he's having trouble orientating himself back in
That's
Australia.
better play. That just going to the advantage line. That's good.
Walters back to Jackson. Jackson firing a pass to Daly, and Daly was flying onto the ball, but he's lost it. And here's Bellamy with it. Well, Daly was flying onto the ball.
Again, it was the pole again.
And there's another player down for the Raiders. And he's not well at all. It's hard to see him. It's Coyne, is it? Yeah, late tackle I hear from down on the sideline. And Coyne is not well.
It was Cole again too.
And it was Cole. Well, Cole's been in a lot of trouble. I think he might even get a sin bin here. Stand by for this. Both touch judges from both sides on the field having a talk to Cole. And Captain Perry Haddock comes across to find out why. Sparagio isn't real impressed with this, let me tell you. And Gary Coyne is not well at all. Dean Lance is above him, and there he is, 10 minutes in the sin bin. Well, Cole had asked for it, I suppose. A couple of minutes before that, he'd had an altercation with Bacco. And off he goes for 10 minutes.
Here's the what, sorry?
Raiders on this time, though. Goes through Henjack, and Henjack fires a pass to Bellamy. Bellamy got it on to Bacco. And with that Cole on, he's totally a bit of a gallop up the field, but he was quickly caught and brought to ground. Up he gets. Here's Walters. Walters back to Gilbert. Gilbert, he makes a good run. He makes about 15 metres. Got it back to Bellamy. And Bellamy's flying onto the ball just 10 metres out. Here's Canberra Raiders now with a big chance with only 12 men. They're a couple of metres out from their own line. This is Gilbert. The Raiders trying to spread deep. It comes across to Henjack. Henjack fires a pass there to Brennan, but Brennan smacked right in the face there by a tackle from Steele. Up he gets to play the ball. This looks like Bellamy just a few metres out. Henjack on the last tackle. Tries to go himself. The ball's from there. There's a try. Try to Daly. Daly's got through to score. Well, Laurie Daly, he anticipated beautifully. He charged through the gap that was there, Don.
It was a lovely little kick by Ivan Henjack.
Wasn't it ever?
And there's a play there where Ivan runs flat and picks up runners, and he's got the other option. He'll put a little kick in behind.
The replay.
And it's just you have all these fellas are out on the right, ready to run off Ivan, but then he's decided when they've come up, he's got a chance for a little kick.
There's a smart little kick.
And there it is.
Great try, Laurie Daly. He's the man you got from June E, and he's really sparkled these first few games too. There's Gary Belcher's conversion attempt now. There's a couple of runs into the ball now. Looks good. Nice kick, Gary Belcher. So the Raiders up 8-2 at the Seaford Sports Ground.
Yeah, Chris O'Sullivan's with me, Farron, and Chris, certainly a lot of bad luck for the Raiders this year. What a start.
Yes, we have had a bad start as far as injuries are concerned, but still, you know, this is the first game of competition, and we're looking pretty good at the moment.
Well, Ivan Henjack looks as though he's 100% fit. How far off are you to making a comeback?
Well, hopefully next week, but I'll get the doctors to have another look at it probably Wednesday, and I'll make a final decision Thursday, I think.
Right. What about this game? How do you see the game so far?
It's been pretty good. It's been tight, of course. First game, everyone's sorting out, and sort of your timing and your coordination starting to sort out, especially defensive-wise, but we'll be happy to go in 8-2 at half-time. We've got the downhill run, probably the wind as well, so yeah, we'll be pretty happy to leave it as it is.
Gary Coyne looked very sick when he walked off the field.
Yeah, I think with the headband, it's just a precautionary measure. Bring him off and put on a refresh placement, so I don't think it's too bad. All right, Chris, I'll let you get back into the players' area there.
Ever final now. Matter of fact, it's Mannix. Mannix is put to the ground. But 11 and a bit minutes to go before half-time. Steelers down 2-8. And here's Glenn Steele at dummy half. Gets it back this time across the line. Good pass that. You can see down close, lock forward, Dean Hansen. Up he gets. Carberry. Carberry Haddock. Haddock away to upfield. Upfield across the line to Leggett. And he's trying to find a run upfield, but Bacco quickly meets him. This is upfield again. Kicks, makes what, 45, 50 metres. It's a long raking kick. Matter of fact, it's going to go over the dead ball line again.
So the Raiders start off from the quarter line tap, and Dean Lance brings the ball back. 8-2 with 10 minutes to go to half-time. And that's Ashley Gilbert taking the ball up close to the ruck. Oh, he managed to lose the ball, and now the Illawarra Steelers are on attack once again. They've gone out through their centre, Glenn Leggett. And, gee, that's a waste of possession, Don Ferner, another turnover.
It's just the point that I made earlier in the game, that you just can't afford those mistakes early. They'll cost you dearly in the long run if you keep doing it. We're playing well enough not to be doing those sort of things. You don't have to force it. You're leading 8-2, and all you have to do is play safe football.
Now let's see if Dean Hanson can make the Canberra Raiders pay. Batiste brought him down, still at dummy half. Illawarra have much the territorial advantage in this half so far. And geez, there's some heavy hits going in there in the forwards, but they keep going. But Batiste and Bacco come at him and drive him down. Still at dummy half. Illawarra, Haddix, the general, he puts up the bomb. It's in the right-hand corner. It's a big bomb. Belcher's underneath it and knocks it over the sideline. Good job, Gary Belcher, out on the full, because he came off Belcher, so that we'll put the scrum down, and plenty of pressure again on Gary Belcher, but he read it nicely, Don.
Oh, no, he's a great player under pressure. He's proved it over the year, over last year and the year before that, and you won't have to worry about Gary Belcher with the ball in the air.
Watch Belcher, he just knocks it over the sideline. Good job.
He takes the right options all the time.
And that's the key to good fullback play. Illawarra, another scrum win. Hetherington, the former state centre, trying for a way through, but there's no one there. The Illawarra Steelers now with the ball around about 20 or so metres out from the Canberra line, and they need to score now. It would give them a great boost. Illawarra moving right now. That's Hanson. Hanson bounces off Bacco, but Bacco manages to round him up like a steer and bring him to ground. Steele, Haddock, upfield. Upfield now looking for some options. Good tackle. Dean Lance was it right around the ankles. Good lock forward tackle from Dean Lance. And now the Illawarra Steelers still on the attack where they need some runners. Intercept ball on their head. And hit Ashley Gilbert on the head. He almost had an intercept. I tell you what, he had Ivan Henjak with him too. That could have been interesting. Epiphanes Spirigo says it's been knocked back and will play on.
Another 6.
And another 6. Here it is again. Ashley Gilbert, he almost got that intercept. Slips Cash, knock on the head. Bad luck for Ashley Gilbert. He's always alert there on the fringe of the ruck. Illawarra sprinting it right now through Hanson. A long cut-out pass to the winger. That's Shane Lee. Lee can't go anywhere. He's brought down by Lance, who seems to be doing a power of work tonight, Dean Lance. So Epifena, who was overrun by his runners. He's got Carberry. Hardy now. He'll get up and play the ball. Illawarra a little at 6s and 7s at this stage. Still at
They're
dummy
not
half.
organised, no. There's plenty of ball there and they haven't been organised.
Bad pass from upfield. Puts him under pressure. Now a long pass now out to Max Mannix. Max Mannix has got Hetherington inside him, but Mitch Brennan herds him towards the line and says, you're going to go down and you're going to go down right on the quarter line with around about 8 minutes to go. It's 8-2 in favour of Canberra. Illawarra really standing around now. They haven't got any pattern to their play. The ball comes down. John Ferguson's got this kick just about covered. Ferguson picks it up. He's going to get up again and run. John Ferguson always brings the crowd to their feet here at Seaford Oval. He's a real battler. He's proved that from coming back from that crippling injury last year. Lance, Belcher. Belcher relieving the pressure for his teammates as the forwards now get back on side. It'll take them a couple of rucks to do so. This is Lazarus, isn't it? Is it? Glenn Lazarus, who's on for Gary Coyne, who's in the head bin. Walters at dummy half. Bellamy looking for a way through. Gee, I tell you what, that was Ashley Gilbert who was taken out of the action there. And Sparagino let that go. Across the ruck goes Lance. That looked a shade forward. Dean Lance brought down by his opposite number, Dean Hanson. So the two Deans locked together here at Seaford Oval in battle. Ivan Henjak will kick now and look for position. Good position from Shane Lee, the Illawarra Steelers winger. Lee brings it back now and he's met in a good tackle. Their attack isn't exactly organised, which you wouldn't expect from the Terry Fernley coach side. Keith Cole now. Keith Cole comes together. He's dropped the ball. Cole under pressure from Lazarus, and Batiste came in fairly late with the shoulder charge. And the referee's in there to just break things up and say, cool it down, fellas. There's only a couple of minutes to go before half-time, and then we'll get the staminate out. There's no big parts in those forwards, Don.
No, there were a couple of good clashes there where they hit hard. But this is the sort of thing you've got to do, is control the ball and keep working with, put pressure on the opposition. Their defence is starting to walk back, and when the Raiders have got a run onto the ball, they've put them under pressure, and they've come up with a mistake here.
So Gary Belcher moving in for this kick. An important kick for the Raiders. Belcher moves in. Boot onto ball. Looks good. Looks good. It is. It's snuck inside the right-hand upright. Well done, Gary Belcher. And the Seaford Oval fans realise that coming up to half-time at 10-2 to the Canberra Raiders, and an 8-point spread is a good position to be in.
the Raiders to use the win, so you'll probably see a lot of kicks coming up shortly. The top tacklers for the Raiders in the first half, Lance 14, Batiste 10 with 5 big ones. You probably noticed Gilbert had 9 and Bellamy made 9. And for the Steelers, Glenn Steele, who's now off, made 7, Walsh 7, and Jeff Hardy, the top tackler, 10.
Gary Coyne, bad news about him, probably concussion or worse. All right, here's the Canberra Raiders with the ball now. There's Bellamy's kick. It's a long, raking one. And Steve Larder takes the ball, who came on just before half-time. Up he comes through the first line of defence. A big run by Larder before he's met about 30 metres out in his own territory. The ball goes wide, this time to Carberry at number 9, Michael Carberry. He loses it. Ashley Gilbert comes up with it from Crookwell. There goes Big Ash up the field.
Leave him, Walsh, leave him.
Up he gets, back to a former Newcastle boy in Craig Bellamy, and he's up over the 22. He beats the tackle of Max Mannix, and that's hard to say with your false teeth out. Up he gets to play the ball away to Steve Walters. Walters fires it away to Henjack, and there's big Samuel Bacco. And Bacco flicks a pass back, and it goes into the hands of an Illawarra player who picks up quickly. Up he gets now to play the ball. It goes back there to Michael Bolt, who's on for Illawarra. Terry Fernley and Ron Hills decided to put him on, and he makes a run straight away. Upfield, caught all the way as well, too. And a penalty goes to the Steelers about 10 metres away from the halfway line.
Michael Bolt is one of the most underrated hookers in the Sydney competition, as far as I'm concerned. Over the last 2 or 3 years, he's played with a side that hasn't performed well, but every time he goes out, it's a wholehearted effort, and I know, for one, as an ex-coach, if you like, I've always respected him as a player, and I think he'll give the Illawarra forwards a bit of a lift out there. So